So we got a bit of interesting comic book news today. So it seems that Marvel is not having its less popular titles appearing on the release schedule, oddly enough. Now, isn't that strange? I mean, it's not like the NPC comics, right? It's not like they don't sell or anything, am I right? Now, who am I kidding? They don't sell. We all know that. Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So, Bleeding Fool has an article on this. It is very interesting to see. They had a tweet stating this. Why are some of Marvel's less popular titles not appearing on the release schedule anymore? Notably, a handful that were seemingly built on social justice politics have completely vanished from the calendar, and Abby Green 1 thinks he knows why. Now, the comic book industry has been collapsing for years, and with everything that's been going on recently, it made things worse. Because, of course, we've had years of where you have the industry constantly attacking the fans, making these trash comics that nobody likes. I mean, it's been nothing more than garbage. That's all that Marvel, DC, and just the industry has been publishing. They've been making very terrible comics that people do not enjoy, and they've just destroyed characters for so long that have been established for years. And then, what do all these comic book pros do that work in the industry? They're talking politics on social media all the time, and nobody cares to hear it, Nobody cares about this stuff. And then now we're starting to see how instead of trying to push these comics onto stores, which has been, shutting down comic book stores for years, it's kind of funny they backtrack, and this time on the release schedule, they're not on there. It's kind of interesting. So taking a look at this article by Bleeding Fool. An interesting selection of comics are missing from Marvel's schedule. Newsrama's revealed that Marvel's slowly returning release schedule is revised, with some titles built on social justice politics not appearing, along with those whose scribes are some of the worst they've employed for a decade or so already. Specifically, here are some titles you won't be seeing for at least 2 months, and possibly more. X-Men, Captain America, Fantastic Four, Wolverine, Spider-Woman, Gwen Stacy, Conan the Barbarian, and Star Wars are the highest profile ongoing titles that are missing in action for the time being. In other notable absences, the entirety of the outlawed subline of titles, Champions, Power Pack, and New Warriors. Oh, New Warriors. Yeah, that comic's not going to sell. We all know that. Are not included. And while the pair of Impri issue 0 are present, the main series itself and various tie-in titles planned for April or subsequent months are unaccounted for through July 8th. Now, isn't that odd? I wonder why. Marvel, as a company, instead of making great entertainment and good comics, they've been making trash. They've been making trash that just sits on shelves, that doesn't sell, and that just waste space. And then, of course, many comic book stores have actually had to close down because they can't pay the rent, because they can't sell these trash comics. I mean, they just sit there in stock, sit there and rot on the shelves, and nobody wants them because, there's all this political agenda being thrown into them, established characters being completely destroyed. I mean, and also the comic book pros going onto social media and attacking fans, which, turns fans off. That's not a way you're going to sell comics. I mean, and that's clearly obvious. You don't attack the consumer. I mean, seriously. Marvel's been screwing up for a while. Some of the flagship titles highlighted are written by rotten writers like Ta-Nehisi Coates. Oh, good lord, that guy. Oh, I hate him so much. Dan Slott, who is another one I can't stand, and Jason Aaron. And the new take on the New Warriors has already been in discussion, as it represents the most noticeable current example of their social justice propaganda in motion. Most amazing has to be that, as they say, all titles pertaining to the outlawed event are suspended from release, and while reading this earlier article, I noticed in the comments section, X-Men is missing because Imperi number 1 is also not listed. Miss Marvel is an odd omission, though, since she was due out on the same day as Miles Morales, April 1st, which means the comics should just be sitting in Diamond's warehouse. And Miss Marvel might be because of Outlawed. And based on the repellent politics the book is built on, it'd be better if they dropped it altogether. It's sold very low over the years, and the issue that's going on right now would only make it more of a lost leader, since Marvel's funding has already taken enough of a blow from being unable to deliver and sell their wares due to the limited way stores have been forced to function so far. What's so odd about the book being omitted from the list of releases? Nothing really. It's been one of the most blatant productions Marvel ever came up with, a huge waste of resources, even as they go to such lengths to promote it as the biggest treasure ever and adapt it to TV and film. And now it looks like, for a change, they may have decided it's best to let it go. The question being whether they're learning a lesson, why it won't help them when they've taken a significant loss of money during the current issue. I can guarantee you right now Marvel has not learned their lesson, because they are in a panic because they've lost so much money over all these years. They've continued to try to push their politics onto their audience, which people are sick and tired of. They have ruined established characters over all these years. They have attacked the customers. Over all this time, they've been driving the money away. They're panicking now because, hashtag pencils down, and the industry collapsing on them, and they put this on themselves, and nobody feels bad for them because they did this to themselves. Thing is, had they listened to the consumers, had they just actually tried to make good comics, not shove in their politics, not destroy established characters, and written great stories, nobody would have had a problem. This would have never happened. This wouldn't have been a problem. But instead, they didn't learn, and I don't think that they have. In fact, I think that they're just panicking over the fact that they have basically gone broke, the industry's collapsed, and they have no one to blame but themselves over it. And I think they're freaking out over it. I think that's the big thing here, because Marvel's hired talentless hacks for years, and they're just like, oh, well, we'll just keep going with it. Not cared about comics and spewed their politics. I mean, look at C.B. Cebulski. What did he ever do? Instead of trying to save comic book stores, he just kept feeding his fat ass, talking about all of his favorite food joints rather than caring about comic book stores. And then the moment that everything hits the fan, then he's all about comics. He's an idiot. And he's supposed to be the chief and editor over there at Marvel. You gotta be kidding me. And then when you have people like Dan Slott and other pros over there, what are they doing? They're just talking politics. That's it. They're not talking about comics because they don't care about them. You can clearly tell they don't. I mean, it's obvious. As for material related to the Empire crossover, there is also a valid argument to make that company-wide events can also be costly at a time like this, and it'd be far better to put crossovers to rest as well, since they've long stopped making serious money and take away the writer's ability to tell self-contained stories. Of course, if the stories are built upon social justice propaganda, that's where standalone writing will fumble. So they do well to move away from all the propaganda tactics they've been pandering for too long. And that's true. That's very true. And actually, there's also the argument to make that continuity, as it was once known, has to be given the ability to be stood erect again. This can be done by clearing away 2 decades worth of bad stories for starters, and returning floppers in favor of paperbacks. If Marvel really wants to prove they can let go of all these grievous errors, now would be the best time to start. But if we know their MO good enough, it's a foregone conclusion they'll miss what could be a grand opportunity to mend all the fences they've damaged over the years. Thing is that Marvel should have learned years ago. It shouldn't have taken the collapse of the industry to teach them. They should have known years ago when they were making terrible comics and they weren't selling. That's when they should have learned. They should have listened to fans. They should have listened to the feedback and then been like, well, maybe the fans are right and maybe we should do better. That's when they should have learned. It shouldn't have taken them all these years for the collapse of the industry to finally teach them something. And I don't think they've learned anything. I think they're just backtracking. I mean, look at the New Warriors. Nobody wants that trash fire. Nobody. And I mean, it's already hit 226,000 dislikes. This should tell Marvel something, if anything, that this is not what people want, and that even the people they catered to, which, by the way, those people aren't even comic book fans, even the people they've catered to don't like this. This tells you, Marvel, you've been screwing up for years. This is not what people want. You should have known better beforehand, and to see that you're taking off these comics now, it's more in terms of we're panicking because of so much that's gone on and so much that's been happening. That's the problem, is that it took the industry to collapse for them to decide, well, maybe we should have different books, freaking out over it. Here's the thing. Whenever it comes to these indie comic book creators, they do a wonderful job. They listen to their fans. They don't fight them. They don't attack them. They don't throw their politics into their books. That's not what they do. They listen to feedback, and they try to do the best they can to do what they can to get comics out there. That's what Comicsgate's been doing. They've been trying to just sell their books. That's all that's been important to them, is to give a good quality product, to sell their books, and to be sure that the fans enjoy their product. That's all that the industry should have been doing this entire time, instead of trying to push all their propaganda, instead of trying to attack people, instead of trying to push these garbage books that have been destroying comic book stores because they sit there and rot on the shelves instead of sell. That's what they should have been doing, is actually making good quality books, to listen to fan feedback and to try to help the fans and give them good quality content. That's what they should have been doing. And to see this change just shows that Marvel is in fear because they know their terrible books won't sell. But before we go, I just wanted to say that if you want a copy of Ethan Van Sciver's CyberFrog 2 Rekt Planet, you have 34 hours left as of the recording of this video. It has 6,443 backers, as well as it has earned up to $754,562. So be sure to back it on Indiegogo while you still can. Make sure to get his book. It looks like it'll be great, and I'm excited to see what the story has to tell as it continues. Also, be sure to back your boy Zach, Richard C. Meyers, and his Jawbreakers Grand Bazaar graphic novel. It has reached up to 1,806 backers, and it has gotten up to $86,550. It has 18 days left, so be sure to back Richard C. Meyers' Jawbreakers while you still can. And I gotta say, Jawbreakers is awesome, and to see the third installment here, I'm excited for it. And also, another one, be sure to back Dan Fraga, Fraggle Boom's Black Flag Pineapple Perception comic. It has hit up to $106,451. It has 1,376 backers. You still have 12 days as of the recording of this video to get this comic as well. So be sure to check them all out on Indiegogo. I will leave the links in the description to their Indiegogo so you can get a copy. So be sure to get your copy of each of their books while you still can. But anyways, let me know what you think about this entire situation down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here, and make sure you are still subscribed because YouTube is unsubscribing people from all their favorite channels. So make sure you are still subscribed to all your favorite channels. Hit the video with a like, and also be sure to share the video on social media. Spread the word and get it out there. It's greatly appreciated, and it really helps out the channel a lot. Also, be sure to follow me on Discord. We have a wonderful community there. Not only that, but it will keep you up to date on the news videos and when they will be released, as well as any other upcoming events in the near future. So be sure to follow me on Discord. The link is in the description down below. But anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today. And remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow could always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you. And have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.